I have got Derek Christian of My Maid Service on the line today, on the hook today, to talk about direct mail, which is one of his key go-to strategies. He is also going to be talking specifically about the U.S. Postal Service EDDM program. There have been lots of threads recently on LinkedIn, on the Facebook groups, in various Reddit groups. So it's kind of a hot emerging option to traditional direct mail. So excited to have him talking about that today. I am watching who is joining us, who is on the line, and if you'll recall, there's going to be a drawing for a free Target Marketing Toolkit, which is produced by Derek as well. I didn't choose the right bowl, but I hope you can hear. I've got a bowl full of your names ready for the drawing. We'll do that towards the end of the webinar today, so definitely stick with us for that. I'll remind you that all lines are closed during the presentation to make sure that there are no auditory interruptions so everybody can hear Derek. And also, you've got a chat box and a question box if you want to post questions or send messages to me. I can help facilitate the Q&A that way towards the end of the presentation. And finally, we are recording this webinar, and it will be posted live and free for you on YouTube, so you can watch it, review it anytime you are looking for it. With that said, always got to get those housekeeping notes out of the way. I am going to turn it over to Derek and say, take it away.
Great. Well, like Cece said, I own My Maid Service. A lot of you, I see people who's on the call know me, but I see some people whose names I don't recognize. My Maid Service, I acquired it when I left Procter & Gamble about 7 years ago, and in Cincinnati, in total, we're at about $1 million in revenue. We opened a Dayton office last year, and my brother's had a Dallas office for about 6 years, and his Dallas office is actually bigger than my Cincinnati office, and he gets happy every time I actually admit that. So yes, Sean's office is bigger than mine, but I intend to fix that this year. And one of the things we do like is direct mail. So I decided to teach this seminar called Direct Mail Isn't Dead, because I've been seeing lots of discussion that you shouldn't waste your money on direct mail doesn't work, it's a waste of money, and I find it still works. You just have to know what to do with it and where to do it. So we'll jump straight in. So what's not working on direct mail? What is not working with most people now, and I will tell you there are exceptions to every rule. There's probably someone on this call or someone somewhere that will argue with me this point, and they may have the exception to the rule. But for the most part, coupon mailers like Valpak or coupon magazines, like we've got one here called Reach USA, typically haven't been working for residential cleaning. They're facing declining use by consumers and increased competition from online couponing companies. And traditionally, service businesses have never gotten very good response rates from things like Valpak. I've talked to people at companies like Valpak, and they said service companies like ours typically see response rates anywhere from 30 to 50% of the average of what others get. So just because it may work for the restaurant companies and the roofing companies, they have never, in all the years they've existed, seemed to have worked as well for residential cleaning companies. And some people will argue this as well and say, well, I see all the national franchises advertised in those. They must be pretty smart. Well, at a meeting not too long ago, one of the national franchises was talking to us and said that they were doing this not because it was very effective. In fact, they said their ROI has dropped dramatically even with their massive national discount. They said the reason why they're doing it is because their franchisees expect them to do something. And they didn't know what else to do. And the nice thing about the direct mail is it showed activity. Oh, look at this. We mailed out 100,000 pieces. Now, did it actually generate a good ROI, good return on investment? No, not really. But, hey, look at this. I'm supporting my franchisees. So just because you see others out there doing it, they may have done the math and figured out it didn't work, and they're doing it for other reasons, in this case, maybe political reasons. Or in a lot of cases, people don't do the math or don't do the math properly, and they may think they're getting a decent ROI because they're getting 6 or 7 phone calls, but they're not thinking through how much those 6 or 7 phone calls are costing them, and is it really worth it. So in general, these packs don't work anymore. There are some exceptions. There are some geographies where it still works. There are a few demographics, but in general, I recommend staying away from it. What does seem to be working for both me and all 3 of our locations is targeted, personalized direct mail pieces. So not one of those coupon packs, but something that you're targeting by geography or by segment. Using direct mail as part of a larger campaign to convert leads, and I'm going to get into these in a little more detail. Using direct mail with current clients and using direct mail with previous clients. So using a targeted basis and using it either with leads, current customers, or previous customers has proven to be very effective for us. Now, on any piece of direct mail you do, whether it is to a lead, to an ongoing customer, to a new customer, all effective direct mail needs to have a compelling call to action. And it needs to be something the customer is actually going to care about. I see a lot of people offering very small amounts of money, things like $10 off every cleaning for the first 5 visits. You know, our clients are typically pretty busy. They're normally not motivated by small quantities of money, so that's not very compelling. You want to try to make it worthwhile, and I'll talk an example of that in a minute. You also typically want to do a deadline. There's lots of research on this, and I can get geeky about the research studies and where they were done, and those of you that heard me speak before may have heard the story, but there was a research study done on a university about trying to get kids vaccinated for venereal diseases. But when you add a deadline to an offer, and a compelling deadline, meaning within the next 30 days, typically you see redemption rates increase anywhere from 50 to 150%, depending on how it works out. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to get something off of that to that list of things that I'm going to do someday to something they're actually going to do. So putting a deadline on the offer makes them go, oh, I should really call and book this, because if I don't do it now, I'm going to lose that $100 off offer and have to pay full price. So the whole reason for the deadline is to just try to get off of the to-do list and on the list of things that are actually getting done today. I've got a bin in my house where I take all these coupons when they come in and sort them and throw them in there, and I've got tons of things that are in there that I intend to do someday. In fact, I'm a bit of a Groupon junkie because I'm a deal hunter, and almost every Groupon I use, I only end up using it like the week before it expires because I'm afraid I'm going to use it. Our customers are like that. They're really, really busy. So you don't have to enforce the deadline. If you say it expires April 1st and someone calls April 15th, you can still take the offer, but put the deadline on there to try to get them off the bench, to get them moving. Your offers need to be clear and without a lot of catches. I've seen a lot of people out there that've got offers and then an asterisk and 101 little terms under it. Keep it simple. You want to make it easy for them. Don't make it overly complicated. And then your offer should be highly visible, maybe even obnoxious. And what I mean by this is there's a term that we used to use in marketing Procter & Gamble called a violator. And a violator is something that is so obnoxious that it violates the flow of the advertisement. Think about when you see a product on the shelf and it's got one of those big starbursts that says new or buy one, get one free. That's a violator. So normally what we try to do with our offers is we make them in violators, meaning they're obnoxious. My company colors are blue and green, so normally my offers are, blue, yellow, and green. So normally my offers are pink because there's nothing pink on any of my advertisements. So having a great big hot pink offer makes it jump off of the page. So the background on my offers are normally pink or purple, red, something that pops off the page, orange. You want it to be highly visible, bordering on obnoxious. You know, your graphic designer will probably tell you it's ugly, but that's okay. The rest of the ad can be beautiful. You want the offer to be ugly. You want the eye drawn to it, okay? And then do testing on various offers. In my maid service, we were running an offer for $100 off the first cleaning for a long, long time. Now, some of my competitors in the market started to copy that, and they were running variations of it, $100 off your first 5 cleanings, $100 off, all variations of this $100 off offer, but with a lot of catches on it. My redemption rate on that offer began to drop, so I experimented and instead offered 50% off the first 5 hours. Now, we charge $32 in Cincinnati because it's a low cost of living city, so 50% off the first 5 hours is actually only an $80 value, okay? But the 50% off offer yielded 2.5 times the number of calls. So even though I was actually giving the consumers less of a discount, I actually got more than twice the number of calls than the $100 off offer. And part of the reason why is the $100 off offer didn't really help customers. $100 off of what? $500, $300, $200? And then, like I said, my competitors were doing $100 off, and then the fine print would say $20 each of the first 5 cleanings, $10 for the first 10 cleanings. and it kind of polluted the offer, so consumers got jaded. 50% off the first 5 hours, you know exactly what you're getting. You're getting 50% off the first 5 hours, so it made it very clear for the customers. So experiment with the offers because, like I said, I actually put less money on the table, less of a discount, and got twice the customer uptake on that offer. Okay? Now, one of my favorite tools to talk about is EDDM, or Every Door Direct Mail. This comes from the U.S. Postal Service, and it's a new service they've started offering a couple of years ago, and most people are not utilizing it, and you should. I'm going to pull up the website in a second and show you how much I love it. But what you do is you pick by postal carrier route, which is much more specific than zip code. It allows you to target all the way down to a specific neighbor level. It's very inexpensive. The cost to mail these is about 17.5 cents per piece. So it's very inexpensive to actually mail these in the mail. Now you're actually going to have to get these made, so you're going to have some production costs too. But like I said, the overall cost of this is very, very low to get it sent out. You don't need specific addresses at all. And you don't need to buy a mailing list or anything like that. And then you can use basically any postcard size mailer, either the smaller or the larger size postcard. And the U.S. Postal Service even has a postcard builder on their website to make it even easier to use. So now I'm actually going to jump to the EDDM website. And all I've done is gone and typed Every Door Direct into Google rather than try to look it up for you. It's just Every Door Direct or USPS, Every Door Direct, and it's the very first link that comes up. Now, the first thing it's going to ask you to do is to give them a zip code. Sorry. So I'm going to do Mason, Ohio. Mason, Ohio is a very nice suburb here in the Cincinnati area where I have a fair amount of clients. Now, if I was doing a traditional direct mail piece, I would probably tell someone, for example, hey, Mason is a great area for me. I'd like to buy all of the homes in Mason. And they'd give me a list, and I'd pay for that privilege. But Mason's a really interesting area because if I go to Mason and I click down here, okay, I don't know if you can tell what I'm doing, but if I see how I highlight an area and it turns purple, so these 592 houses that I've picked have an average of 23% of the population is in between 25 and 44 years of age, and they've got an income of $96,000. Pretty close to the range I want. You can see on the right-hand side, it tells me it's going to cost me about $103 to reach them. But if I go just a little bit further north up that exact same road, all right, sorry, it scrolled in on me. Problem with the scroll bar. If I go up just a little bit further on that same road, let me turn these off. I can look at some other mail carrier routes. So that one's 94. So this neighborhood's only got a $74,000 income. The neighborhood above it, right at 70. And as I go further north, I start hitting some areas with $120,000 household incomes. Boom. And right next to this $127,000 household income area, so right here, $129,000 is the household income. I've got this neighborhood with an average of a $62,000 household income. So the great thing about Every Door Direct is I don't have to buy all of Mason. I don't have to buy this 488 residences that only make $60,000, this 462 residences at $70,000. You know, while it's nice to say generic things like Mason is a high-income area, right in the middle of Mason there's a neighborhood that's low income and not a very good target market. Yet it's surrounded by, God, keep zooming on me, it's surrounded by all of these higher income markets. So all you have to do is highlight the areas you want, and once you double click them, it'll lock them in. And you can pick however many homes you want to get to. So you can see by doing this, I can quickly put together a target mailing for 1,000 homes. It's going to cost me $195 to deliver these. Now you don't put any addresses on this. What they actually do is send them out by mail carrier route. That means the actual guy driving the truck. So they're literally going to hand that guy as he goes out in the morning a stack of postcards and say, what I want you to do today is take these postcards and put one in every single mailbox on your route. And once again, here's another little neighborhood I don't want to do. It's only got a $57,000 income. Yikes, that's even worse. And there's 22 businesses in there, so we're going to skip that address. Next door is $72,000. So you see how Mason's kind of a crazy area. I can have these $60,000 neighborhoods backing up to these neighborhoods that are making much, much more than that. So the great thing about Every Door Direct is I can target by mail, by neighborhood, and by mail carrier route, and only target these 125. Ooh, there's a $150,000 neighborhood. I want that one. And target these high-income neighborhoods. And pretty quickly, nah, that's only 80,000. I can get a pretty cool direct mail piece that's only hitting the high-income houses. So now I'm going to nail the 4,000 houses in that area. It's going to cost me $700 to mail it, but those 4,000 houses have an average income of over $100,000 for the household. They're my perfect demographic. I can tell you I've got a whole bunch of customers in that geography, so that's what I want to hit. At this point, you simply press continue. You log in. You give them your credit card information. You can even upload your postcard from here. You don't even need to go to the post office to drop them off, although that is certainly an option. The post office is working this program very, very aggressively, and will be more than happy to help you make this effective for you. So Every Door Direct is a great tool. I recommend you get out there and play with it. Another tip that makes direct mail or any offer more effective is to make it specific. If I was personally doing direct mails to these neighborhoods, I would actually tie my offers to the day that I was in that neighborhood. So I wouldn't just say $100 off. I'd say, we clean your neighborhood on Tuesday. If you book on Tuesday, you can get the same great price, and we'll give you $100 off. The more specific you make it, more often the more likely they are to book. And they like the idea that they're going to be getting cleaned the same day that their neighbors get cleaned. It implies you're an expert in the neighborhood because you're there enough that you're hitting that neighborhood enough to have a certain day of the week. Okay. I also mentioned that direct mail works really well as part of a campaign. And what I mean as part of a campaign is when you get a lead, you want to work that lead like a dog. All the research we've done, and there was a survey done by the U.S. government, which is the best source I've ever found, that said in households that make $85,000 a year or more in income, only 1 out of 10 of them use a cleaning service on a regular basis. So even if you target really well and you are sending advertising pieces only to households that make $85,000 and above, 90% of the people you're going to be shipping that to never will use a cleaning service. So 90% of your money is always going to be quote-unquote wasted. So whenever anyone contacts you because they're a lead, they're self-identifying as one of that exclusive 10%. So you don't want to just call them one time. You want to call them over and over again, and you want to get in touch with them. I find direct mail is very effective with me to get those people to actually book. Some examples of things we do, we will, if we give someone a quote and they don't book, we have a series of emails we send them to get to schedule. If they don't book, we will actually send them a postcard with a discount. We'll send them a postcard with a handwritten note from me, the owner of the company. We do written campaigns and things like that to try to get them across the finish line. People respond best when the envelope's actually handwritten, when it's not a form letter, you know, something that says something as simple as, hey, I was thinking of you and was really hoping we'd be able to get a chance to service your home. So adding direct mail they won't necessarily see your stuff, but if you send them a postcard, it'll get their attention. I find direct mail for us is actually working really, really well in downtown Cincinnati, which is all young, urban, hip kids. And I think it's because the mail sticks out. They're not used to seeing it. It's different. And as much as possible, the letter needs to be customized. So the letter that we send normally isn't just something generic. It literally says, here's the quote we gave you. So we got an 8% increase in conversion rates is what we did. So when we're used to convert maybe, say, 30%, we're now converting 38% of people who didn't book right away. And by adding in a customized letter 2 weeks after the quote that said, here's your quote. Thank you very much for getting in touch with us. Here's a discount, a coupon, a note from us, an article. We send different things in the mail. But the customized letter is very important because it actually contains their quote information. And we use some software programs to make that easier, but that's how it works out. Okay. I saw a question came in, and for those of you that are unfamiliar, there is a chat feature where you can ask some questions, so I'm going to back up a little because I just caught the question. Frequency for direct mail and every door direct. I know a lot of marketing experts tell you that you have to send things multiple times for a consumer to notice you, and I do believe they need to get multiple impressions from you, but I typically only will do direct mail in clusters of 2 to 3, so I'll mail to a neighborhood 2 or 3 times. I don't find that when I do 5, 6, 7 times, I get any better response than I do the second and third time. I normally only do direct mail when I need to. One of the reasons why I like direct mail is because I can turn it on and off. Here in Cincinnati, if you Google Maid Service Cincinnati, we're #1. Yay, go team. But I can't turn that on or off, so I'm always going to get phone calls from that. So like right now, I'm not doing any direct mail because I don't need any more customers. I do a lot of direct mail, for example, in January, with the idea that January is a bad season for me, so I'm trying to pick up more customers. I do every door direct to neighborhoods where I see competitive cleaning services a lot. Once again, I know they're using another company, so I'm trying to get them to switch to me. And I will normally do about once a month for up to 3 months, and that typically works best for me. Response rates of every door direct mail, where we're doing a postcard with a compelling $100, 50% off offer, with a 30-day deadline, with the big bold pink violator, we're getting about a 4% conversion rate to ongoing service, which is really good. So that means if I send it to 1,000 homes, I'll get about 40 people calling up. Now when I say conversion, I should define that. I get about 40 people calling the office for a quote. I don't actually book them all. I don't have a 100% close rate, but I will spend, you know, what's that, $170 to generate 40 phone calls. Now, has to be the right neighborhoods. I don't just spam everywhere. Once again, I'm hitting neighborhoods where I see the maids cars and Molly maids and Mary maids. If I see a lot of logo cars in the neighborhood, that's the neighborhood that I'm typically going to hit. And this is where it's good to be local. Some of the guys like HomeJoy and Handy and some of those competitors can't do this. They're not out there. They don't know that this little cluster in Mason is the right type of customers and this cluster isn't. They buy big generic lists. They do things that kind of spam everybody. Okay? All right. Let's see. Now I got to jump to the next slide. All right. I also find direct mail works pretty well with my current clients. Now, don't get me wrong. I love email. I do a lot of email marketing with my clients. But one of the things we do after the first cleaning is we send them a handwritten thank you note. I use solo cleaners, so one of the things that's a problem for my company is we very purposely want to try to get the client to bond with the company and not just the cleaner, because when the cleaner quits, if they don't have a bond with the company, they might terminate service. And not necessarily because the cleaner's poaching them. I've had cleaners move states away, so I know they weren't taking my customers, but just there was never a very strong bond with the company. So when the cleaner leaves, it's like, yeah, I don't want to pick a new cleaner. Well, you don't have to. Your bond isn't just with the cleaner, it's with the company. So we send them a handwritten note when they first start the service. And more specifically in my company, I actually have my 7-year-old daughter write handwritten thank you notes to all the clients that say, thank you so much for using my daddy's company. And she colors on the handwritten notes, and I get comments and calls from the customers all the time how cute it is. Because people like to do business with people. They don't like to do business with big faceless corporations and people that are just out to get money. So that's why we like to do that. Okay? We also do our holiday cards just like most people do. One of the differences with our holiday cards is a lot of times I will throw in a gift of a cleaning that they have to give to a friend. So for their holidays, I'll give them 2 things. I'll give them a free add-on service or a discount add-on service for them for the holidays. Chandelier cleaning, Tom Stewart, my partner, gave me the idea of silver cleaning, you know, holiday add-ons at a discount to thank them for being a customer. Or sometimes we just throw in some free things if they're a good enough customer. We also include typically a 3-hour free cleaning that they have to give to somebody. They can't use it for themselves. It has to be gifted. And that's a good way to get referrals. And once again, a lot of us send holiday cards out anyway. A lot of times people will spend time and money coming up with company gifts. My company gift is a discount on a cleaning service for yourself and a cleaning that you can give to a friend. So those are some of the things we do. All right, direct mail to previous customers. I already talked about how only 10% of households that make over $85,000 a year use a cleaning service. So if you know somebody is part of that group and they've stopped using the service for some reason, doing direct mail to them is a very effective way to get them back on board. Once again, maybe they canceled service, and when they canceled service, they were a little bit grumpy, so they might have put you in their spam filter, or if you're like my customers, they seem to change emails on a regular basis, so if they haven't been a customer for a couple of years, the email may not work. So trust me, I do emails to customers who've canceled service as well, but I still find that direct mail is one of the most effective ways to reach former customers and get them back on the schedule. Because as long as they haven't moved, they're still going to get it. Even if they did move, the new resident's going to get it and go, oh, okay, I never knew this house got cleaned. And I've actually gotten calls from people saying, well, Mrs. So-and-so's gone, but can I use the offer? And I'm like, yeah, sure. You want to book business? I don't care. So I find direct mail is a very good way to also get in touch with those previous clients that are no longer currently active. Okay, so like I said, we do have a chat option. I saw one chat question come in. I'll give you guys a second to see if any other quick questions come in. And if not, then I'm going to just real quickly move to another part of the program and kind of explain who we are and what we do. So I'm not seeing any other questions, but if you do, go ahead and send them in right now. In the meantime, I'm going to move to the next part, which is explaining who Cleaning Business Builders is and why we give these webinars and what we do at the end of the day. And then finally at the end, Cece's going to say which three of you won our Target Marketing Toolkit. This is a toolkit that's actually designed to be used either with direct mail or leave-behinds. They're brochures that we print out that are either for pet owners, people with compromised immune systems, older adults. I think there's one for, I can't remember. There's 4 of them, and I'm blanking on the 4th one. And then there is a bonus one, which is a brochure designed to help you sell apartment communities, if that's something you like to go after. I do, and it's been good for me. So Cleaning Business Builders is part of the group that I'm in, and we are teaching a program called Foundations of Success on Isle of Palms, which is outside Charleston, May 31st through June 6th. And you guys heard a little bit about me at the beginning, but our partners are Tom Stewart, who owns Castle Keepers in Charleston. He's my partner in Cleaning Business Today, our trade publication too. Does chemical-free cleaning and is one of the first people I've ever known who's done that throughout his company, and just has an amazing company that I can't say enough really cool things about. Obviously, hopefully you heard a little bit about me, and then we've got Liz Trotter. And for those of you that don't know Liz, Liz is basically the maid whisperer. She is amazing with all things people-related. All right, I am seeing a question, so let me take a quick peek and see what we got. Oh, just CC sending out some links for you on Foundations. Okay. So the 3 of us together do over $6 million a year in revenue between our 3 companies, about 80 years of combined experience in the cleaning industry. We all have IICRC certified firms and over 20 certified techs working for us. And this is what I like. We do things differently. I do solos. Tom does 2-person teams. Liz does large teams. I use traditional cleaning products from Procter & Gamble. Tom does green cleaning. We compete in Charleston and Olympia, Washington, which are small markets, Cincinnati, Ohio, which is a mid-tier market, and Dallas, which is a large market. Yet at the end of the day, we still are successful in all of them. So it's really interesting. We also do a lot of add-on services, whether it's apartment communities or Tom does work with military bases and vacation homes. So basically in Foundations of Success, we take a look at a company's complete business process from beginning to end. How do you get people? How do you get customers? How do you put it all together and actually at the end of the day generate revenue? Because that's what we really care about, is how do we actually make money. So the real key to Foundations of Success is it's about empowering the cleaning business owner to establish and implement business systems that make their business run as smoothly and efficiently as possible. So we really try to go through and tailor the processes to your company. One of the big differences is we're not a big believer in doing a one-size-fits-all approach because, as I already mentioned, we all use different versions. Tom does teams, I do solos, Liz does large teams. So we don't really believe in telling you there's one way to do things. We kind of have to get to know you and your company and your strengths and weaknesses. So we do things like DISC assessments to figure out your personality profile, talk to you about your business and try to figure out what's right for you, and then try to help you design the perfect systems. So we give you a lot of templates and examples, but everything kind of needs to be customized for you. And then, of course, you're going to get access to all three of us while you do it. So, like I mentioned, 3 months ahead of time, March, April, and May, we do a lot of assessments. We need to figure out where you're coming from. We do marketing assessments, process assessments, people management assessments, personality profiles, because we're trying to figure out where you're starting from, what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, because we have to know that if we're going to move forward. Then we're going to go down to Charleston. We're all going to stay in the house you see together for a week, May 31st through June 6th. It's over 70 hours of classes and workshops, and we also spend a full day on Castle Keepers, which is just, I think, the best cleaning company I've seen in America. It runs very smoothly. It does a tremendous amount of revenue out of that one building. If I had the type of market share that Tom's got in Charleston and Dallas, we'd be about a $20 million company because he's got a massive company. I think 70 employees is the last time I talked to him in Charleston. I want you to realize how small Charleston is and how many houses they have to clean to have 70 employees in that city. And you're going to leave with over 20 completed tasks. And it's a great site. It's on the beach. We have a lot of fun while we're there. This is a picture of actually Castle Keepers. That's his Tom's in-service room. So once again, he's got so many cleaners that they fill that room in the morning to do their daily in-service training with the techs before they go out. And we're going to use that room while we're there. And you see those binders in front of them. There's actually 2 of those binders because there's so much stuff that we go over. The curriculum, we go through strategy and planning, human resources, marketing, operations, financial support, administration. Basically, we try to cover all parts of your business because if your HR strategy doesn't work with your marketing program, things tend to break. Let's see. So once again, some of the topics we run through: business strategy, employee life cycle, sales procedures, cleaning procedures, operations, marketing. And you can see some of the classes that are under them. It would take me forever to read all this because it's a really big program. One of the things that we're really, really key on is making sure you go home with things. We don't just want to be school where we dump a whole bunch of junk on you. We want you to leave with some things. So we're going to have a responsibility grid. And what that means is in your office and amongst your key people, who's responsible for what? What are their roles and responsibilities, and what are their sandbox? What's their limitations? What do they have authorization to do or not do? So we knock that out. Cleaning procedure manual. We can either take your current one and work on it together to make it better, or we can give you one to start with and customize it for your company, whether teams or solos. We refine and then practice, because I'm really big on role-playing your sales process. So we role-play your sales process. I close 85% of the people who call our company and say I'm interested in the cleaning service, and I close them over the phone. If you're not experiencing 80% or above sales conversions over the phone, you can get better at that. We help you come up with your nurture process for how do you get people to quote, how do you get the people who quoted but didn't book, how do you get the one-time bookings to schedule ongoing. We include emails and all the wording and templates you'll want to use for that. We do KPI calculators. A KPI calculator is your key performance indicators. If you tell me how many leads you get, what your customer conversion rate is, how much you charge per cleaning, and what percentage of your customers you lose a month, I can put that on an Excel spreadsheet and tell you how big your company is, how big your company is going to be, and when you're going to flatline. It's all basic math, and we've got an Excel spreadsheet to show it to you. Hiring packet, job descriptions, job advertisements, and interview questions and processes. As competitive as the labor market is, we were doing open interviews in Cincinnati and Dallas last week and had over 20 people apply. So even in competitive markets like Dallas, you can get 20 people a week to apply if you advertise in the right way. Because people don't think about it. Advertising for employees is just like advertising for clients. You have to think about it and have a plan. Practice the best ways to discipline and terminate employees. Once again, this is role playing. Liz is going to make you role play firing people. It's very uncomfortable, but with practice you get better. Internal work processes. We're going to work on things like breakage, rate increases. A bill rate calculator and to figure out what your ideal bill rate is. Customized plan to get feedback and reviews and testimonials from your customers. We do scripts that we work on complaints. We do complete consumer profiles. So we're going to do a consumer profile of new parents, young urban professionals, and older adults. Who are they? What do they care about? And how do you reach them? If you want to, not everyone wants to do this, but if you want to, we will work with you to set up an AdWord campaign. And then finally, the entire last day, we don't actually teach anything new. All we do is work on making an annual plan for your next year. What's your revenue going to be and how you're going to get there? An SEO calendar, what are you going to do to try to increase your SEO? A marketing plan, weekly and monthly, what are you going to do to actually get more customers in the door? And an action plan, which is basically an implementation plan of weekly, what are you going to do every single week? So we don't just want to teach, we want to actually have you leave with all that done. Because failure to implement is the #1 reason why any business investment fails. Whether our program or someone else's program, if you don't do it, it doesn't matter how good the program was. So we want you to leave with everything done as much as possible and have a plan to do it. Now, one of the bonuses is while you're there, your lodging in the beach mansion is going to be covered. We also pay for breakfast, lunch, and dinner while you're there because, to be honest, you're going to be working so hard, you're not going to have that much time to leave. So we want to go ahead and make sure you're fed while you're there. And you're going to be there with all the other cleaning business owners, a chance to network 24 hours a day. Now, it is a real commitment, but if you make a commitment to it, we will as well. We do care a lot about our people in our foundations program. We want to make sure they're successful. You may have heard some of them talk in the past. We've got some videos on the website from some of the previous participants. Joe Walsh has been very successful and is now actually helping us teach it. Troy was in one of our early classes. There's a lot of really great people out there that we've got some videos and you can ask about. So, but that's not done. Once you're done, we do 6 months of ongoing support. For 6 months, we're going to do accountability check-ins with a partner. We're going to partner you based on your DISC assessment to try to get someone who isn't necessarily your personality match. They might actually be the exact opposite of you, because if you're too laid back, you may need someone who's a little bit of a taskmaster to keep you on track. Then we're also going to do some one-on-one and group coaching calls with your mentor. You're going to get an assigned mentor and do one-on-one and group calls with them. Once again, what did you say you were going to do? Are you getting it done? If not, what can we help you with? And then you get membership in our private Facebook group, and that is a very active group. They're always sharing ideas. So in total, we also give you our everything we have. So if there is a prepackaged material, you get it. You're going to get our high-pep videos for 6 months, our team builders, our Made Money Kit, the Target Marketed Toolkit, the core value decks, the 2 manuals, the Professional House Cleaning Manual and the Modern Cleaning Book, and you even get a pretty cool Foundations class t-shirt. Finally, if you actually sign up, we instantly will set you up with a business assessment questionnaire to get you started. And don't worry about it. We do have payment programs. We've got a discount if you want to pay in full. We've got a 6-month program, a 12-month program, so we've got a couple different ways to do it. This is sort of the schedule. I'm running through really quick, so I'm trying not to bore everyone. If you add up all the evaluations, the money it costs to actually rent that beach house, which is expensive, and all the food, it would be about $40,000 if you bought it all independently. But all of the whole program together, the 6 months of coaching, the pre-assessments, the week on-site, the food, the lodging, is $7,500. The only thing that's not included is you have to find a way to get to Charleston. And like I said, we have a full payment where we actually do a discount. We've got a standard payment plan, 6 months with no interest, or we do have extended payment plans with some interest. If you're interested, talk to Liz, Tom, or myself. Our phone numbers are now up on the screen, so feel free to call any of us. Those are, at least in my case, my cell phone numbers. I imagine it's the same for Liz and Tom. CC's at our headquarters and will answer any questions. And then there is a formal registration form and such. Now, the last thing I wanted to do, just very quickly, is this is all the stuff that's included in the binders. So, and this will be saved later. You can play this back and look at these presentations and read them all smaller. But various KPI calculators, employee training procedures, job descriptions, and those are the actual job descriptions, orientation, technical training, train the trainer programming. A lot of you have got great training programs for your techs, but have you ever taught your trainer how to train people? Employee management, employee manuals, professional conduct guides, employee compensation, benefit programs, various policies that are very important that people don't always think about, office procedures, safety. And you can see there's just pages and pages of materials, cleaning training tools, work loading tools, guerrilla marketing, SEO tools, and that's all that's included. So if you're interested, give us a call. I promise we are not pushy, difficult salespeople. We have told people in the past that we didn't think the program would be right for them. But if you're interested, call one of those 3 numbers, contact CC, go to the website, give us a shout out. I did see one more question, but it looked like CC had answered it. CC, do you want to talk about our winners while they try to get some questions answered?
Absolutely. I've got my my cup of everybody's names on an individual ticket. So we're going to go for our first person, Donna Riley. Donna, I'll be contacting you to get you your Target Marketing Toolkit. She's our first winner. Let's shake it up again real good. And let's pick our second person. We have Pete Glavis. Pete, be in touch with you shortly to get that Target Marketing Toolkit to you as well. And we have one more. A really good shake for this one. See who we get. We get Jason Thompson. Awesome. Let me tell you, it's so much fun giving stuff away. They just let me talk them into starting to do this recently. So I have so much fun putting together the raffle tickets in my cup and shaking them around. So please keep coming back and joining us so I can keep doing this because it's a really fun part of my day when I get to do this. I mentioned the toolkit includes 4 different prepared, researched, and fact-checked brochures that target its pet owners, families, older adults, and immune-compromised folks with terminal illnesses or illnesses where they're going in for radiology and chemotherapy where their immune system is compromised. The apartment brochure is a bonus that Derek added, and there's also a door hanger with some great tips on it. So you get some really, really good pieces, as well as a guidebook to help you make choices about customizing if you choose to take the copy and change it. So we've got a guidebook there as well.
I guess that's something I made very clear. All of those are templates that you can modify and make work for you. So, yep, exactly.
Yeah, that was one of the features we had to work hard on to make sure that you had control over what you're sending out. So you can put your logo on it, you can put your information on it, you can change all of the copy if that suits your needs. But definitely wanted to give you something that was about as close as ready to print as you can possibly do without having everybody's information already on there. So we're excited to get those in your hands and give you that tool. It's one of the very first toolkits we ever created, and it's a hot seller. We send them out all the time. As Derek mentioned, give us a call. Just ask questions. Say, I definitely can't do it now, but I want to know more. I want to understand more. Even if you just want to talk through this program or any of our other programs. We've got a great employee engagement program called HiPep. If right now you're feeling like the only thing you could do is get a better handle on your staffing and your training, let's talk about that too. So I'll always have our phone lines open for a good conversation and to get to know somebody new. Always welcome for that. So we've got Pete Glavis, Donna Riley, Jason Thompson, our Target Marketing Toolkit winners, and I will be in touch shortly after the webinar. Another reminder here, as we're coming close to the end of our hour, this has been recorded, so if you joined us late, we will have this up on YouTube. It'll be free for anybody to watch. We're good that way. We make it easy for folks to find stuff. We do this every third Thursday every month. Third Thursday at 3. Keep those T's in mind, those THs. Third Thursday at 3. So be sure and put that on your calendar. We do not have a final confirmation on who's coming up next month, but I hope to have that out within the next week. So definitely watch your email. We'll be sending out that information. Make sure you're following us on Google Plus and Facebook. We post it there as well. So really glad to join. You've chosen to join us this afternoon. Derek, any final notes or thoughts that have come up since I've been doing my raffle thing and awarding prizes?
We did get a question sent in about, I guess, Angie's List is advertising something that looks like Every Door Direct. I'm actually not familiar with that program. I do advertise with Angie's List, but not familiar with that program off the top of my head. That being said, I really don't know what they would add to it that would make it worth any type of premium upcharge. As I just showed you on the website, you can already, down to groups as small as 200 consumers, figure out the demographics of the area, see who is in the target age group. I would, unless there's something I don't understand about the program, probably just do it myself, because that website is so powerful and easy to use. And the one thing, the post office just hasn't done a good job promoting it. So you do see people out there selling add-on services. Don't really think you need an add-on service. I'm as critical as the government as the next guy sometimes, but they did a really good job with that Every Door Direct Mail website. Try it yourself. If you don't find it intuitive, maybe then look at using someone else. But I really don't know what else I would want as a marketer. So I'm not bashing the Angie's List program because I really don't know it. I just can't imagine what else I would want than able to target down to 150 consumers at a time at 17 cents each, know the target demographics of each individual route. If any of you have got any particular mail pieces that you want an opinion on, feel free to shoot me an email and I'll give you some advice. I ran through some generic tips, but sometimes it's helpful if I know who the 20-something people are on the call today, so if you were actually on the call and you send me a piece, I'll give you some advice of what I would suggest maybe you change. Is your offer compelling enough, not compelling enough? I didn't mention it earlier, but typically I recommend on direct mail pieces you should have a picture of somebody cleaning something. While it's okay on your website to sell higher order benefits, meaning the house and the comfortable life people are going to have, in direct mail people flip through it very, very quickly, normally a fraction of a second, so the visual should tell them what you do. So it should be something like a cleaning service. If it's people jumping in the air and looking happy, then at that point it wouldn't necessarily tell people what it is. So that's my advice. Okay? All right, well, thank you very much. Once again, feel free to shoot me any offers, and we'll take a look at them. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. We'll look forward to seeing you again next month. Bye-bye.
Bye.